The sound a portal gun makes when it's empty. People think the portal gun sounds cool, like a wet burp from the throat of existence. Like the universe gagging on its own tongue. That's not the important sound. The important sound is what it does when it doesn't work. The first time the portal gun failed me, it made a noise like a cheap toy dying. A plastic click, a pathetic little chick. Like reality tapping out, like the multiverse shrugging and going, yeah, nah, not today. And it wasn't because the batteries were dead batteries or for people who still believe the future comes with instructions. It failed because I was empty. I was standing in a garage that didn't smell like a garage yet. It smelled like paint and new wood and Diane's soap. This lavender thing she bought because it made her feel like she lived in a world where lavender meant peace instead of covering up whatever you did last night. I remember the fluorescent light flickering overhead, buzzing like an anxious insect. I remember the workbench. I remember my hands were clean. That's how you know this is ancient history. A Rick with clean hands is basically a myth. A fairy tale where the moral is, don't let your husband discover higher dimensional topology, because he'll start seeing your love as a rounding error. I held the portal gun, prototype, ugly, incomplete, and I pointed it at the wall. It didn't open, it just clicked. And then, because the universe is a comedian who never learned timing, Diane called my name from inside the house. Rick, dinner! Like everything was normal, like we were just a family in a small house, on a small planet, in a small reality, safe from the bigger machine. I didn't answer her, not right away, because I was listening. When something doesn't open, you can hear it. The air stays the same, the room stays honest. No ozone, no caring, no cold breath of elsewhere. Just silence. I should have gone inside, I should have washed my hands again. I should have sat down at the table and let Beth show me whatever weird little drawing she'd made, and laughed at the wrong parts the way dads are supposed to. Instead, I stared at the wall like I could bully it into becoming a doorway. That was my first mistake. My second mistake was thinking I got to have more than one. Diane Sanchez, and the knife that cut reality. Let's get one thing straight. Diane Sanchez was not a tragic backstory accessory. She wasn't a motivator. She wasn't a dead wife trope. She wasn't a plot coupon the universe clipped so it could justify me being an emotionally constipated war criminal with a god complex and a drinking problem. Diane Sanchez was a person, which is why losing her didn't feel like a story beat. It felt like someone took a knife and cut the timeline. Not the part where she died, the part where she would have spoken. People mourn like they're reading a book and someone ripped out the middle chapters. They don't just miss what happened, they miss what would have happened. The jokes that never got told, the fights that never got resolved, the stupid anniversary gifts that never got returned. Diane had a laugh that started in her chest and climbed out through her mouth like it was escaping prison. She laughed with her whole body. It was unfair, like she was cheating at life, and she was smarter than me in the ways that actually mattered. I could fold space. She could fold a room full of tension into something livable. I could calculate the collapse of a star. She could look at me, Rick Sanchez, the guy who could stare down infinity and call it cute, and say, hey, come back, I need you here. And I would sometimes. That's the worst part. That's what stings. I did come back. I did love her. I did try. Which means I can't even comfort myself with the lie that I didn't have anything worth losing. The first lie I ever told her. I told her science was just a job, that I'd stop when it started taking too much time, that I'd be home for dinner. I told her this while my brain was doing backflips in a warehouse of impossible ideas. Dimensional brains, causal recursion, infinity arranged like a sick little flower. She smiled at me like she knew exactly what I was doing, and she let me lie anyway. Not because she believed it, because she believed in me. Do you know how heavy that is? To have someone believe in you like you're not a disaster waiting to happen. It's like being handed a glass sculpture and realizing your hands are made of hammers. Beth was little old enough to copy adults, young enough to do it wrong. She used to sit in the garage on an overturned bucket and ask me questions that were half curiosity and half love. Why does it spark? Is that dangerous? Can I push the button? To the first two I'd answer with science, to the third I'd answer with panic, because the button she wanted to push was always the one that would melt the garage into a crater and turn our dog into a concept. Diane would peek in, sometimes holding a dish towel like a peace flag. "You two okay in here?" And Beth would shout, "Dad's making space noises." And Diane would roll her eyes and say, "Rick, if you tear open the fabric of reality before dessert, I swear to God." And I'd raise a finger like I was in a lecture hall. Technically it's not fabric, it's more like. And she'd throw a crumpled napkin at my head. "You want romance? That was romance, not flowers, not poems. A napkin thrown with love and irritation and the certainty that you'd still be there tomorrow." The knock, the day it happened, the universe didn't send thunder. It sent a knock at the door. That's how it gets you. It doesn't arrive wearing a cape, it arrives in polite packaging like a delivery. I was in the garage, obviously, because I am nothing if not consistent in my self-sabotage. I was hunched over a prototype coil. I had chalked equations across the concrete floor like I was trying to summon demons, which is, by the way, basically what advanced physics is. Demon summoning with more crime. I heard Diane answer the door. I heard her polite voice, friendly, cautious. Then I heard a voice I didn't recognize, calm, smooth, like it had never trembled once in its entire existence. "Rick Sanchez." A pause. "Diane again." "He's in the garage. Who are?" I should have gone to the door. Any responsible husband would have gone to the door. But I was in the middle of something. I was always in the middle of something. I thought the universe could wait. The next sound was not a gunshot. Not exactly. A gunshot is violence. It's physical, when something you can point at and say, "That did it." This was cleaner. This was like reality being edited, like a sentence getting deleted from a page. I bolted upright and ran. And in that half second I had an idiotic thought. Maybe Beth spilled something, maybe Diane dropped a plate. My brain desperately tried to protect itself with small explanations. I hit the doorway to the hall and the air felt wrong. When I saw the living room, my mind did what it always does. It tried to understand, it tried to label, to measure, to frame. But grief doesn't live in measurements. Diane was on the floor. Beth was no.
I'm not doing this like a documentary. I'm not giving you clean, clinical pain. Pains and clean. Pain is a wild animal that crawls inside your rib cage and starts chewing. The first time I invented God, it was an accident. Grief does this cute thing where it convinces you you're being rational. It says, let's be productive, let's make a plan. Let's take this unbearable feeling and turn it into a project, because projects have steps and steps have endings, and endings are safer than infinite sorrow. So I did what any emotionally shattered genius does. I made a list. Find the man who did it. Understand how he did it. Make sure he can never do it again. Undo it. Feel something healthy. I stared at that list for a long time, then crossed out number 5, because I'm not a liar to myself. The first thing you learn
when you start cutting holes in reality is that reality doesn't like it. There are rules, there are pressures, there are things that push back. You can brute force those things if you're willing to sacrifice your fingerprints, your sleep, and a couple morals you weren't using anyway. I worked like a man possessed, which is funny, because technically I was not by demons, by Diane, by the phantom of her laugh, the memory of her eyes narrowing when I tried to dodge responsibility, by the shape of her absence, this negative space that filled every room like toxic gas. Days blurred into night, food became an annoying rumor. I stopped shaving, I stopped answering the phone, I stopped being a person, became a factory at some point. This is not a metaphor. My garage stopped being anchored. The math on the floor stopped being notes and started being laws. I remember the moment it happened. The air got cold, not like weather, like permission. The portal prototype on the bench began to hum without power. And then the garage door blinked, not opened, blinked. The rectangle of daylight replaced itself with a view of an ocean made of black glass under a sky with too many moons. I stared at it and stared back at it, done at a doorway, a tear, my first real portal. And for a fraction of a second, the grief in me said something dangerously hopeful. Go find her, find a version of her, any version, take it. And then the second voice answered, quieter but sharper. Would she be her? Or would you be stealing someone else's life like a thief with a PhD? That second voice sounded like Diane, which is how I knew I was officially insane. Enter Morty. Here's the thing about portals. Once you open one, you don't just create travel, you create temptation. You create a way to run away from consequences. You create a shortcut around pain, and shortcuts rot you. They teach you that distance is the same as healing. Years later, Morty would stand next to me, eyes wide, asking if the portal world was safe. And I'd say, safe is a word invented by people who died boring. And Morty would laugh nervously, because he didn't know yet that I wasn't joking. But back then, there was no Morty. There was no sidekick, no teenage who to look at me like I was equal parts horrifying and impressive. There was only me and the hole in the wall, and the feeling that I was one step away from turning into the kind of man who could look Diane in the eye and choose science over her all over again. So I did something absurd. I closed the portal, I slammed the device down on the bench and screamed at it like it was a living thing. Not like this, I said, like there was a right way, like any of this had rules. Then I did what grief always forces you to do eventually. I bargained with the universe, not with prayer. Prayer is for people who think the universe listens. I bargained with engineering. I built safeguard anchors. I took a system that would let me search without ripping reality apart like wet paper. And because the universe is funny, my first successful stabilized portal didn't take me to my target. It took me to a place where my target was me. A lab stainless steel, clean lines, a version of me in a white coat, younger and sharper, talking to a room full of floating drones, like he was giving the TED talk to his own ego. He turned when he saw me, his eyes widened, then he smiled. Oh, he said, delighted. So that's what I look like when I stop pretending I care. I stared at him, disgust rising like bile. He walked closer, hands behind his back, like a teacher inspecting a disappointing student. You're doing it for her, he said. I'm doing it for justice. I snapped, he laughed. No, you're doing it because you can't stand that the universe proved you were in control. Oh, I wanted to hit him, I wanted to drag him through the portal and show him Diane's face and force him to feel something real. But he leaned in, voice low. Here's the truth, he whispered. The only reason you loved her is because she made you feel like less of a monster. My stomach turned, he stepped back, smiling again. Welcome to infinity, he said. It's mostly you. Then a drone floated between us, projecting a map. Branching worlds.
I recognized the signature, the same scorch mark on my wall. He pointed to it like it was a treasure. That's the one, he said, the Rick that did it. The one that started all this, the knife that cut your reality. My heart stopped, because if that was true, then my life wasn't a tragedy. It was a chain reaction, and I wasn't the main character, I was collateral. I turned on my heel and stepped back through my portal without another word. He called after me amused, "Don't worry, you'll become me eventually." That's basically physics. The portal closed, I stood in my garage shaking, and for the first time since Diane died I laughed. It wasn't funny, it was the laugh of a man realizing the universe had a sense of humor, and that humor was cruelty. Okay, I said to the empty air, okay fine. I picked up my portal gun, I looked at the list on the wall, and I added a new item. Version of me that thinks this isn't inevitable. Because if there was one thing Diane taught me, it's that inevitable